Guys, what is going on? I wanted to talk for a little bit about something I haven't did an update on in a while. And any more, guys, if you can, I'm recommending more and more to carry this, which this is pepper spray. Any kind of brand you choose, do your research online. I'm not going to promote any certain brand. You'll hear a lot of comments back and forth. I like Fox Labs, and I like, I believe it's called DPS, which is what I carry at work. DPS is what they use in prisons. If a guy's in a cell and he won't comply and they can't get to him and he won't come out, they take a hose. DPS makes a hose that goes on the can. It's a bigger canister, and in prisons they spray that in there, and even if he's across the room, it's got a mixture of tear gas and pepper spray in it, and he starts choking to the point to where he can't do anything, and they get in there. The prison team gets in there and gets to him, and they can do what they have to do. When they're already masked up and everything, they don't have to breathe it. But that's how strong that DPS black label is. You can look up that on YouTube if you'd like. I almost said Facebook. But anyway, being a guy that does this stuff for a living, not in prisons, but being a guy that does this stuff for a living, how much I rely on having this as a go-between to a firearm. And because, so here's the thing. So basically, you have force of presence, uniform, you have force of voice, stop. I'm not going to yell right now, but, stop, or, put your hands up. Let me see your hands, whatever. That's force of voice. And then you have, use of force, where you're physically using something as force. This is a good go-between. Now, when you're just a citizen walking around, you're not going to get called into things and called into, we need you to come here, we need you to do this. So the chances are slimmer, but there's still a good chance for this. Let's say some guy's road raging on you, and the guy follows you or whatever. You don't see him. Maybe he's following you. You don't see him. Or you're in a long line of traffic. The guy gets out of his car and comes to you. This is a nice go-between. I do have pepper spray in here mounted with two-way, or with Velcro on sticky tape right here. It's on the can, and then on the Ford truck here, my F-150, beside the door. I did a video of that setup if you want to scroll through. But here's the thing. This is a good go-between. So let me just give you a story for an example. I had a domestic that I dealt with. It was in public. The business had thought this guy was about to, the business thought this guy was trying to literally throw his girlfriend through their front window of the business from outside, whatever this argument was over. I come to find out a little bit of details later. It was to do with some other guy. She sees multiple guys, and then when she's done with this, or when the guy beats her, she goes back to him. I come to find that out later, but I didn't know this at the time. So it's a domestic violence situation. I got up on him without him seeing me, and I had my pepper spray out, my DPS. And when I got to him, he was sitting there, and he had his arm around her neck like this from behind, and they were both on some kind of a bench type thing or something, and outside, and he had his hand around her neck like this, and the window was at their back, so I figured that was the window where the business thought he was going to throw him through. And they were basically, he was screaming at her. She had a phone. He was trying to get the phone. It's just a bunch of mess going on. So what I did, basically, at the point that he was at, I could have drew my firearm on him. And like I said, guys, this isn't me. I'm talking about me at work. I'm not talking about doing this just as a guy on the street that sees this. I don't recommend that. But I had the right. I was justifiable in pulling my firearm at that time. But what I did was I took my pepper spray. I came out on him from the side and came up, and I put this about where her cheek and ear would be, right off the end of his nose. And I screamed at the dude, "Let her go right now, or I'm gonna spray you in the face with this. And I'm gonna have to call medical to scrape you up off the ground, because you're not gonna be able to see for about 3 hours." The guy immediately lets go, and she gets up, he gets up. The place they were at wanted them banned. I notified them that they were banned from this public place that they were in front of. that they couldn't come back. That's how I got to know some of the details. Some of the people that were in this public place had known them. But basically, I told the guy, like, you know, I warned him, like, I'm going to spray you right in the face with this, and then you're going to be, basically, I told him, you know, this is what it's going to do to you. You're going to be getting scraped off the ground. You're not going to be able to see for a few hours. The guy gave no resistance. The guy ended up being at least my height. Yeah, I don't think he was any taller than me, but to me, he looked like a good-sized dude. But he immediately got up, went away from me, and didn't offer any resistance whatsoever. She immediately got up. That's about all I'm going to tell about the details of that story, except for later, when everything was said and done, the people in the business knew of these people from going there a lot, and basically they have seen her injured to the point to where that she had to have treatment and always goes back. It's real hard for me to have all of the sympathy I have for a woman getting beat when I know that she's been injured to the point of going to the hospital. I think one was a broken arm, and then going back with the guy repeatedly. Because I can't do anything more for you. I might be able to save you on the street. I got to save you today on the street. But what am I going to do when you just get back with this guy when he's out of trouble and whatever happens, and then he's back with you and you're alone, or you're in an apartment, you're in your house or apartment? What are you going to do then? What's she going to do then? My whole point is just to tell you that this is a good go-between, and I'm not 0 to 100 on the firearm. I try to de-escalate if I can, but this was like, you know, this was like a ton of commotion going on. You know what I mean? I wanted to go up with, I couldn't just use force of presence, uniform, force of voice. I had to go up because I didn't know immediately if I was going to get attacked. Sometimes when there's a domestic, you'll get attacked by both people. This is what I went with. You ever see those hostage targets where you got a steel plate here, and back here is supposed to be the hostage holder, and when you hit the hostage, or when you hit the hostage taker, the bad guy, it like swings. This is how this guy had her from behind. Like, his head was out and her head's over here. So number one, I don't want to put a gun by her face unless it was dire, unless there was no other remedy. I don't want to do that. So I just went right off the end of this guy's nose, right by her cheek and ear, and said, "Hey, buddy, here's what it's going to be, and this is what's going to happen," you know. And luckily, he did the right thing, because he'd have been in some serious pain. You don't want to get hit with this stuff, man. I don't care what people say. If you get the good stuff, there's a lot of hurting in that. But that's what happened, guys, and that's why anytime more and more. I'm definitely a fan of people having pepper spray as a go-between, okay? Because something ramps up, and you've got, when you're a citizen out in public, you've got your force of voice, and then the next level is your firearm. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. There's tens upon tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of people in this country that only carry a firearm when they go out, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Chances are, if you do what you're supposed to do and everything goes well, you'll never even have to touch that gun, which is the scenario we want. But like I said, a lot of the road rage stuff is bad out there. It's super bad anymore. And having this, when somebody wants to come flying up to your car when you're in a line of traffic and you've got nowhere you can go, this can do the trick real well. So maybe even have a setup like I have in here. I'll show you how I have my pepper spray set up in this truck for those of you that haven't seen it before. So like I said, this is an F-150. I just ordered for a few bucks Velcro tape on eBay. It had both sides. It came in one roll that was combined, and I pulled the two rolls apart, and you cut off how much you think you'll need. And so far, it seems to be holding up pretty good. I just see a little bubble right here. But I've had this on and off several times because sometimes if I don't have any other pepper spray on me, sometimes I'll pull this off when I go somewhere out of the truck, and I'll take that. But the idea is having this nearby for if you need it in a quick pinch. Okay? Because when you use that there's really nothing that can ever arise from that could be, well, you know, it's never going to be deadly force when you use this. Sometimes you just can't do that, though. But like I said, most free states like the one I'm in have castle doctrine that extends to your car. So if you felt, you know, threatened, you could pretty easily pull your gun as well. But just something to think about, guys. Just, you know, that's what I do on this channel. I give you guys things to think about and to, you know, see and discuss. So that's my 2 cents, and I hope you're having a good day. I'll talk to you soon. This is DOF, and I'm out.